to a radio show. I'm your host, Mike Kamal, here on a Monday afternoon at about 2 o'clock. I'm out here in the wilderness. I haven't done one of these in a while. I've done one out there and everything else, but I decided to do one outside. Just I wanted to do it on this lighting because my glasses said so. I can see my screen, but it's not as good as you think. But I just wanted to say, happy Monday. Welcome to a new week. Sorry I didn't record one yesterday. I believe this is 180. 179 is on the burner. It's on my computer at the moment. I just have to hit publish and it should be up. I'm going to upload that and then I'm going to upload this. This one's probably going to be about 15 minutes because that's what I'll do. So, so I got up today at about 9:40-ish and I went to the bank about 10 o'clock. Went to the bank, got a coffee. Currently haven't finished it yet. And then I went for a walk, got a coffee, got back home, ended up cleaning the kitchen for a little bit. So now I'm outside here talking to you guys. I just wanted to say thank you guys for all the views. I think we're up to 5,110, I think, almost. I just want to say thank you for everything. Thank you for all the views, and thank you for the support. Because without it, along with my friends, my family, my spiritual connections that I have in the world, it is great to be back out front of my emotions, my feelings, and my wants and needs here. I can't say that without saying thank you to everybody, because right now it's just settling in that I'm doing good. I'm 2 months removed from actually seeing that April got out of Target officially, so that's also setting in. Her family's doing well. We actually had a conversation 2 weeks ago. Although we've been putting posts on Facebook and stuff like that to kind of, or I've been responding to posts just to let her know I'm in the community. I'm alive and well, talking with everybody. I think I talked to Meg last week, so for about an hour last week. So I'm keeping in touch with everybody. So it's nice to keep in touch with the girls, and Tom and I usually respond on our own schedule because we're weird like that. So I think he's connected with an old friend too. So I think I want to let him do that. Connect with one of our friends with one of our friends up in New York. One that. Dogs running wild. Yep, somebody's stopping something's dog. It's been really interesting the last 3 months. I think my good streak started on the 12th, right after April told me her luck was changing. So, and she was getting out of Target officially. So it's been good the last couple of months, and hopefully that continues. My streak at work has been nothing short of amazing. Our team may be short-staffed a little bit because of an incident, some tomfoolery with one of the managers. We've been able to get past all that and hopefully start anew, and hopefully that continues for the near future. I just want to let everybody know that I pray to God every day that I stay healthy and I stay strong so I can keep in this fight, and give me the power to reason even if somebody wants to roach on me. And if anybody wants to play fast ones, I know what I said time to time. So, uh, but yeah, it's just consistent, and the world is the world is coming together, and the world is for me yet again, not against me like it was. I'm gonna say over 9 months ago, because 9 months ago I couldn't say the same. You guys know all too well that was the problem. I feel like I'm outgrowing my old self a little bit because it's. I notice the influences from I don't know, my grandfather. All my grandfathers were resourceful people. My uncle Bill, and I also got April because I always feel when I start talking in details, I feel her with me. So um, I feel that emotional power coursing through me. So it's really interesting. So now I can reason without getting, if there's one thing that helped me out, I think, and I've learned this from my dad. So I think having her reasoning and her, and her logic, her grounded logic, uh, even though it was a little weird at times, um, you know, it's nice to have her grounded logic and have her not go all over the place. And that came forth um, when she started doing better and she started realizing just how much, just how unsavory not only corporate retail was, but also the world was, and how tough love goes a long way, um, and how so much different, a guy like me can be. Somebody, if there was one thing that she and I did well, was we could was I gave her a chance. She didn't really have anybody solid to lean on during some years, but with me around and emotionally, she looked up to me, and she always looked to me for comfort and nurturing, if you want to say that. And then, me coming from an Irish Italian family, my grandfather was always protective of. My grandfather was always protective of my mother and her sisters. So that's where I got that, and I got that trait from my grandpa. Thank you God, thank God every day I got that nurturing. He did show my mother and her sisters tough love because he wanted to let them know that yes, there are going to be things out there that are going to be unsavory, and there are things that are going to be nasty out there for you, but you have to be strong enough to survive and do it. And thank my Italian Irish blood for that. Um, and thanks the fact that he actually birthed a loving Italian Irish mom. So, and my mom. So I won't forget the day I knew that I had a connection. Well, there were actually a couple of times I knew I had a connection with her that was unbreakable, and it's the reason why I have the unbreakable spiritual connection that surpasses any boy girlfriend relationship ever will, because um, it creates less stress, and she's able to live her life but also be emotionally connected to somebody without having any strings attached, because she doesn't want to be held down. She likes to be independent, and if she has that free spirit, and she's better free, and she's better when she's not held down technically, because she's a free spirit. So I knew that right away, and through ancient teachings, and also spiritual teachings. You don't want to let a free soul or free spirit hold the free spirit down, because you won't get the best out of them. So there's a reason why I like her as an independent woman, because um, I got more potential out of her doing it that way, rather than burdening her with a relationship, because there's a lot you have to think about. And it's not that she's self-centered or anything, it's just that it's tough for her to make those decisions. And she's and she doesn't like pushing people away. But with a with a friendship connection that she and I have, it's easier to make decisions and be able to space everything out and not think you're hurting the other person. You know, she can go her way and I can go my way, and we can always reconcile. And it's easier because we don't have to split up. We just can sit there and go, hey, you know what, we need our space, we need our time, and we need our chance to. And she always gave that to me. I always gave that to her. The reason there were times when in our Target career where I knew that that bond was strong, and I knew we had one like that. There was one time. There was one time we were talking and it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just, you know, one of those things where, you know, you just something happens and you just have to brush it off, and you get smarter and you get smarter with it, and you just move on. You just don't let it weigh you down. And if the person that trespassed on our connection, and got in the middle of it, um, you know, wanted to do what they wanted to do. You know, they could spin their wheels all they wanted, and stuff like that. So one night I think this was before I got into market. This was a week before I got into market. I think this was like one of my last three shifts on the, this was like one of my two, this was one of two of my last shifts on the, as a cart attendant slash brand attendant, and quasi sales floor. So one night, I was being a little ambitious, and I went out and I was gonna go get a iced tea. And little did I know that I was going to see something and interact with something that I really didn't want to interact with. I tried not to really stay in the ETL's eyes because I didn't want them getting in the middle of it, because every time they tried to help her out or something like that, they just made the situation worse. And I really didn't want them getting in the middle and saying, "Oh, you're doing something wrong," you know, something like that. Um, but so what ended up happening was is we it's one of the bosses that we knew. Unfortunately, knew her. They This boss knew her mother well and knew her tendencies. Unfortunately, knew her tendencies, but didn't know the reason behind them. Um, and I wish they would have, and I wish the CTO would have read into her a little bit better, and wouldn't have gone off another ETL. See, that was a trend with everybody in that store. They would always commiserate with each other and talk, but they would absolutely miss the mark with that girl every single solitary time. They would get the behaviors right and everything else, and they'd be able to nail the behaviors and they'd be able to call out a fault. But to be honest, a guy who grew up in a psychology setting and grew up with psycho and biopsychosocial analysis and all that other stuff, I can do that. I can do that without. Um, I can do that. I can basically pick all that out without even having to say a word. I just can observe and I know what's going on. Um, so, in one of her behaviors was that she loved to talk a lot, um, and they kept saying, "Oh, she gets distracted if she gets talking." I'm like, and I just sat there and I'm like, okay. I'm like, not that everybody, we're all social beings. We're all social beings. If you guys have a problem with it, you guys might want to talk, you know, and all that other stuff. So, um, just for some backstory, her mother used to work with us and stuff like that. So of course the April's tendencies made the rounds and stuff like that. Unfortunately, what they forgot to mention, what her mother forgot to mention, is that she had Asperger's and had ADD, OCD, and all this other fine stuff. Stuff that the Target Corporation really didn't want to put their heads around, and just saw, oh, she's just a problem child. We just gotta be serious with her and all that other stuff. But I'll get to that in a moment. So what ended up happening was is I will grab and get a tea. We're talking for about I'm not even gonna say 2 minutes. 2 minutes, like it made a difference to me. It's just a conversation because people. She was lonely at the time. People wouldn't give her the time of day, and of course she needs somebody to lean on, stuff like that. And I was the guy to do that. And ETL comes by and I'm like, oh no, and it's like, oh no no no, this isn't happening. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, ah, we got caught and stuff like that. And I'm like, we got caught. Like, oh, she's like, and that really patronizing motherly tone. Motherly tone. The lady who was doing this really thought she knew everybody, knew everything. But, so April's like, oh no, he's just here, he's just here he's just here grabbing his tea, and he's just, he's talking to me for a second. I was helping him pick something out, and that's all we were doing, quite frankly. And she go, that's all we were doing, quite frankly. There was no harm done, but unfortunately, the ETL wasn't having any of it. She was like, "Oh no, I've heard this before, and I've heard this before from you, and I've heard this whole covering friends thing and whatnot." She goes, "Like, no, you go," and I was like, "No, it's all right." I'm like, "April, it's all right. I don't want to get in trouble here." So the way I didn't say a word the whole thing, and she stood up for me, and I knew right there and then that she had respect right there, and I'm like, oh, she told you. Oh, I knew she was a good spirit then. I knew she was a good spirit. It's just that people kept getting in the way and stuff like that, and I was always proven right when that happened. So and the ETL had the gall to point her finger at. She actually used the key. She actually She actually had the gall to point a key at me. She wasn't pointing with her finger, but she was pointing with a key, which it doesn't matter how you cut it, it's still pointing, and that's accusatory type stuff. And to be honest, we're just sitting there having a conversation, and I'm just sitting there. She's like, oh, she has a problem talking. I'm like, yeah, right. No, it's never gonna happen again. It never did. It never did. After that, because we were smart enough to know that that was going to be a problem, and it was going to be a pain in the butt. Um, I kind of allowed it to happen because I kind of allowed that to happen just to play dead, just to keep everybody happy. Because I knew April and I had Messenger and all that other stuff, um, so I knew I could do that. I actually told the ETL a little while later. Hey, listen, it's gonna happen. Don't like you were just doing your job and stuff like that. And I said I talked with her on Messenger, and she's like, "Oh, you do that? Why didn't you say that before?" And I'm like, "Listen, it was heat of the moment. You were just doing your job. I'm happy that you got in the middle, so we could all play fair, and you're good like that. Um, that lady probably helped out our friendship more than you would think, and actually kept a positive influence on us. We kind of have a little bit of a cat and mouse game going with this one, but it was a good challenge, and she was good. She was kind hearted. She was on the same level with one of our other ETLs that we had. It was the same way, and it was but the premise of the story was is we kind of had, because I kind of knew that I had more knowledge of her than everything, because later that night when I was grabbing carts and everything, and she was talking to me, and she's like, Mike, I knew that was going to happen. I have this problem talking. And I just sat there, and she was looked so dejected, and I could tell just by the way how she was looking, the way how she was talking, is like like it set in, like it really took wind out of her sails. The reason is because she was trying to do something good for me, and she got hit down, and I just felt, that's nasty. But I knew right there and then that she was a good soul. And I knew even if we split apart or if we had a wedge driven in between us by any of these idiots that thought they knew better than us, unfortunately, I knew we'd be able to get it back. Um, and the second one, and sorry, this is a long one. The second moment I knew, she actually, the reason why I play with my hair is because she used to do it once in a while too. She used to play with her ponytail all the time. The second reason was when I was in market. I must have been in market for a whole month up to this point. We were talking back and forth, and it was hard not having me at the store at night, and she really enjoyed me. Because I used to walk April out to her car all the time, being the. I was one of the many gentlemen in that store. There's another guy out there, Brian McNeil, nice big tall guy. We were friends too. We were friends. She was friends with April too, because she used to do electronics. And thanks to me, Brian had a. She got an ally out of Brian, and and what ended up happening we'd walk out to the car and we'd have all these conversations. That sort of went away when I went out during the daytime, and it was probably one of the sweetest things I've ever heard. And I knew genuinely that I had made a huge impression on her emotional, and she became attached to me. Sweetest thing that came out of her mouth. So we were talking back and forth how I was enjoying Mark, and she was like, she was like, you know, she was like, Mike, when are you gonna come back and do a night shift once? She was like, I kind of miss it. I kind of missed not having you around. And she was like, she knows it's lonely at night. I know I have everybody else, but not having you around is pretty bad. She wasn't in tears, but I just sat there and I was like, April, I'll try to. I'm like, April, if that means that much to you, I will try to take a night shift one night, and we'll have a we'll make a night of it, and we'll do whatever. And I knew right then and there that she and I were emotionally attached right there. If she was begging me to come in and she was begging me to do all that, that kind of hit home that I really made an impression on her, and she was leaning on me more than I think. And I kind of smiled after that, and I said, "Oh, you make me feel bad for making the decision, but I had to do whatever." So me being the gentleman, I decided to look for shifts that were happening at night, and there was one Friday night that I was off, one Saturday night that I was off, and there was a sales floor opening, and I told her, and I said, hey, I got a sales floor shift tonight. I got a sales floor shift a couple days from now. And this is before we went out to the movies and everything. We'd already settled to go to the movies, go to see Wonder Woman actually when it came out, because I wanted to add and really really bring her emotions back and really heal her up, because she needed it badly, and stuff like that. She needed an emotional healing badly, and we made a night of it, and I walked her out to her car, and I made sure we went to 11. We went to 11 o'clock, so I got to walk her out to her car. She was like, "Oh, this is so satisfying. It's so nice of you." She's like, "It's so nice of you to do this. No, none of these ETLs." She's like, "None of these ETLs do it. Can do it for me." I mean, he goes, John Costa. John Costa was one of the best ETLs that you could have had on your side, and he helped her out so much while I was absent, and he was a good Samaritan to do that. And unfortunately, the poor fella got sick. Got sick on the latter half of 2018, early 2019. He retired actually in January 2019. John Costa, if you're out there, buddy, I hope you're back up and well, because you were a lifesaver to that girl. You're a true gentleman like myself, to help her and keep her going. And he gave her hours, even when things weren't going so great. When were doing the end-to-end stuff, but I could tell that that gave her a boost because just listening to her, just saying, "Oh, it just doesn't feel right when you're not here," and stuff like that. She goes like, she she felt lost. She felt lost at the time, and she was really struggling, and my heart was burning to help her out, um, and she saw me as a guard dog. It was really emotional to listen to her. So we did that night, and of course I came back the next day at like 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, and my eyes are dragging. My eyes are dragging. He's like, and John Costa comes up to me. He says, "Buddy, you all right? Were you here last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was." He said, "I was trying to cheer up April last night." He goes, "Oh, nice of you." He's like, "Oh, like that was so nice of you. She's been asking for that for a while." She goes, "You're a really good man. Let me get you a coffee." Nicest guy in the world. Give the shirt off his back. The guy was awesome. Um, I I think I jokingly told April, said, "Oh," it says, "Oh," I said, "Oh, I said, "Oh," I think I jokingly says, "We love," and it says, I think I jokingly said, "Oh, hey, we all," I said, "We all love him," and I said, "April, we all love him to death, and he's that type of guy," and she's like, "Oh, do you?" She's like, she goes, and I said, "I love him as a human being, but not in that way." She was like, "Oh," she's like, and she was sitting there, and it was a small little joke. She was like, "Oh, do you need it?" She was like, "Do you need a noodle?" And I'm like, mm. She goes, "Nah." And she goes, "No, so she goes, "No, I have your," and I said, "No, I have your beautiful voice to soothe me and calm me down." She was like, "Good." She was like, good answer," because one of the other guys said, because she said it to one of the other guys. It was, there was all this joking around. See, we could see there was one thing that we could do. We could joke around with each other, and there was tension. There was romantic tension between the two of us. But she and I could joke like that, and not be in a relationship. It was very good that we could be that intense emotionally with each other and be that tender with each other, but not for a relationship going. And I found that so unique about her, and that's what she found so unique about me. So, um, and that's the reason why when the wedge was driven between us, thanks to Cheryl Harding. And if you are watching this, Cheryl, please, you did not kill my friendship with that girl. You helped it, and that was the catalyst I needed to kick you, Paul. But so that's the reason why I laid my life down for her, and I have all this energy now because I'm able to dig into all that good natured feeling and stuff like that, and she knows that and deep in her heart, even though I'll probably have to tell her the whole story when we get the chance, when we get to sit down for a coffee and talk about old times, and I have to celebrate her success and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, I thought I'd give you guys a philosophical talk. See, that's the reason why I laid my life down for her, and I prayed to God every day that she stay strong, and the prayers and all that healing energy I gave her. That was one thing that I would always do. There would always be a joke where we'd say, "Oh, I'm giving you healing, sending healing energy your way," just a kind of just an act of the good Lord. And that's why I always prayed for her and my friends, let them all stay strong and let them stay good in life, because that's because I'm emotionally connected to my friends more than you think. So, um, I think my battery's like 15%, so my battery is running low. So some features may be limited. Thank you, phone. I'm going to charge you up very, very soon. Um, I'll charge you up to 40%, and then I'll do whatever. But yeah, that's the reason why I laid my life down for her, and I just didn't do it blindly because I was in love or anything like that. I did that because I was doing it for another human being and for one in need. So, and I feel satisfied that I drove those communists, socialist bastards into the ground, literally took them to the raggedy edge because of all the things they did to us over the years and other people that I knew. Um, So that's the reason why I made the sacrifices I made to make sure that she was safe, and because she showed me kindness and tenderness and love and everything like that as a human being. Because she's a nurturer. She's a nurturer and she's a healer, and a good spirit all in one. So, and she's a strong lady, and it's because of not only because of what she dealt with, not just because of what she dealt with in her life, but she also dealt with me and lived through with me. So, um, her experiences, my kindness, and everybody else's good graces, all the energy that people saw in us, we just were able to do that. So I want to thank you guys for listening, and I'll upload this sometime today. It's good I did one. I think it's about 2:30 right now, so I did this one to do, but you guys know now the reason why our connection is so strong. And those are only two moments of many that we actually did. And God saw them all because I was helping her at the end of 2018 and to help solidify our friendship back. There was just so many things because that's what I remembered. I knew she needed my help, and I knew I needed hers and stuff like that. So, what are we at? 9%. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go back in and charge this phone up and like to 40%, and then I'll upload this video. Well, I'll upload the other video and then upload this one video a couple hours later. But I bid you guys all good day. Long live America, God bless America, long live all the freedoms and our rights, and all the spirits out there that we've lost over the months and over the years, including Grandpa, and anybody that's been dealt with corona, been taken away via coronavirus, or grandparents from my friends and family. I'm thinking of you, Grandpa. Thinking of you, Sean Garner. Thinking of you, Ruth and Daddy. Forgive it for teaching and giving me a gift of to your granddaughter for teaching me how to be strong, and teaching your granddaughter how to be strong and teaching me how to be a fun-loving human being again. And I'm quite grateful that I've met your granddaughter. I hope you're listening up there. And pray for my friends. Let them all overcome their obstacles and let them all stay strong. And just let them know that their life on earth is precious, and that they should take one day at a time and just heal up and stay strong, because you don't know what is going to go on. And especially for the ones that are lost out there, give them the strength to find their path. Show them to the light. Show them. Well, give me the power to show them, to guide them to the light in the darkness. And because me being named after an archangel, and after my uncle, I'm kind of a spirit like me is a guide to freedom and all that other guide to freedom. And since I am one of God's soldiers, I'm like that. So, but yeah. I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry this was a little long, but I had to do a long one since I'm out here in the wilderness. I get philosophical when I'm out here in nature and listen to the birds chirping and enjoying the world and enjoying the live and just breathing in good life. So something about the nature that brings out the best in us and just allows us to speak our minds and be free. I just want to thank all the spirits and all the people out there that helped me in my journey. And to those of you who have not helped my journey, have been been catalysts in my changes, but have hurt me and other people, you're not so great. And hopefully you guys, and hopefully those who have hurt me and other people in my life will find that they've done wrong, and that hopefully you guys will all be forgiven and will turn over a new leaf, because while people may be evil, they also will try to find the righteous path. And if you guys don't, then you guys all burn in the hot rocks. So, and I'm pretty sure Paul and Cheryl Harding, if they don't find their awakening, they're obviously going to burn in hell. So, and you know, because of what they did and their evil deeds, their own self-centered deeds. So, or their ego-centered deeds. So I say not self-centered because everybody's the protagonist in their life. So, all right, people. I'll see you guys later, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I think this is the longest one I think I've done in regular radio show. So 180 was a long one. Goes to the you know doing a complete 180 on day 180 after all the short vlogs I did. So guys, I'll see you guys later, and my phone's about to die.